Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Council on Foundation's annual member meeting, featuring a keynote address by Fred Blackwell. Thank you for being here with us today. All right, and for this first section, let me welcome and bring on stage a few members of our board. We're going to start with Tony Mestres, President and CEO of the Seattle Foundation. Also joining us are going to be Kathleen Enright, President and CEO of the Council on Foundations, and our keynote, Fred Blackwell, CEO of the San Francisco Foundation. And to get us started, I will hand it off to Tony.
There we are. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, and it's a great pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you. I'm Tony Mestres, President and CEO of Seattle Foundation. I'm a proud member of the Council on Foundations board, and you may have noticed that this year's annual meeting is part of a broader member week, with this event really serving as the kickoff. And in addition to today's meeting, we're also providing a number of other opportunities for council members to connect through a member hour tomorrow and an Ask Me Anything with Kathleen and the council's leadership team on December 7th. So I was really honored and excited to be able to introduce our keynote speaker today. He is a wonderful friend, a partner in the work that we all do. He is a teacher to me. Now, Fred and I joined the Large Community Foundation CEO cohort at about the same time, 5 or 6 years ago. And we came from very different backgrounds. Fred has a career just steeped in service, both in government as well as in the social sector. He is an incomparable leader in terms of thinking about the role of philanthropy and community and racial equity. And also, we both have a penchant for asking disruptive questions. I generally find that when Fred does it, people are inspired. When I do it, people are mostly just disrupted. But I have also found that his knowledge and his work in thinking about how philanthropy can do better and how foundations can play a role at this critical time in our society to fill in this leadership gap that I think we all recognize has been a tremendous example for all of us across the community. As I mentioned, he has an extraordinary career. Prior to San Francisco Foundation, was the city administrator at the city of Oakland, served in the San Francisco mayor's office, has also really been an extraordinary leader in community development, was the director of the executive director of San Francisco Redevelopment Agency, and then prior to that also worked both at the San Francisco Foundation in his first act and with the N.E. Casey Foundation. So with that, I'd like you to meet the guy who is on the other end of the red phone between Seattle and San Francisco whenever I feel nervous or anxious about some decision that I might make. I pick it up and I call down south and get Fred's advice. Fred, over to you.
All right, thank you, Tony. It's really a pleasure to be with you all. And thank you, Kathleen, for the invitation to be a part of the member meeting this year.
It is now my job to pivot us to welcome Jamie Marasotis to open up the 2020 annual membership meeting. And I would love if folks will stay because this part is also going to be interesting. We have some terrific business to conduct and state of the council. Jamie, hi.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you very much.
Good to see you. I think I'm leaving you now, though. So be back with you in a minute.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to Fred and to Tony for a terrific session. I really did learn a lot. I'm very grateful for your leadership, Fred. And I will say personally, Fred, that I skip both leg and arm day. But when it comes to our work on racial equity, I promise you that I will not skip either. It's terribly important, and I'm very grateful for your counsel. Well, hello, everybody. I'm delighted to welcome all of you to our annual member meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Jamie Marasotis, I am the board chair, president of Lumina Foundation, and we have an important agenda that we have to go through here today based on our bylaws, a nice compliment to the wonderful remarks from Fred. And so we're going to jump right into this. Let me first begin by saying that prior to this meeting, the membership all received an email communication about the slate of board members and the minutes from the 2019 meeting. And our council staff with Kathleen McLaughlin, the board secretary, have verified that a quorum was present for this meeting. So I'd like to ask my executive committee colleagues to unmute themselves now, and I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the 2019 member meeting.
Good afternoon, Jamie. This is Randy Royster, and I would move that we approve the minutes from the 2019 member meeting.
Thank you very much, Randy. Is there a second?
Hi, this is Ken Jones. I will second.
Thank you, Ken. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. The motion is approved, and I appreciate getting that small piece of important business out of the way. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Vice Chair of the Council and also the Chair of our Governance Committee, Tanya Allen from the Skillman Foundation, who will talk with you about our Governance Committee report. Tanya?
Hi, Jamie. For some reason, I think, oh, there we are. Camera is coming on. Thank you. So as Jamie mentioned, I'm Tanya Allen. I have the privilege of serving as the Vice Chair and the Chair of the Governance Committee. I'm also that odd face that popped in during Fred's great keynote. So I apologize for that, everyone. So one of the primary functions of the Governance Committee is to really regenerate our board by adding new members for the Council's directors. And every year we propose a slate of nominees for membership, and all procedural requirements based on our bylaws have been met. So today, I'm very excited to inform everyone that we are presenting a slate of 4 individuals to serve on the Council's board beginning a 3-year term on January 1st, 2021. We're excited to add these board members to our rank, and the slate includes, as you see on the screen, Martha Jimenez from the California Endowment, Brandon McHale from City Foundation, Jennifer Ford Reedy from Bush Foundation, and Mayanne Tran from the Ford Foundation. So we're very excited about these. We're also presenting 2 candidates to be renominated for a second 3-year term, and they include Kathleen McLaughlin from Walmart Foundation and Ridgeway White from Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. With that, I'm going to turn it over to you, Jamie, to ask for a vote on the proposed slate.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Appreciate it. What a terrific slate of candidates. I'm very excited about the continuing strengthening of the leadership of our board. Prior to the meeting, the voting members of the council submitted proxy votes, enabling members of the executive committee to vote on their behalf to confirm board nominees. So I'm now going to ask the members of the executive committee again, Tanya, Kathleen, Ken, and Randy, to unmute yourselves if you're not unmuted and be prepared to vote on the candidates. We'll go first with the new candidates that Tanya just mentioned, Mayanne, Brandy, Martha, and Jen. Do I have a motion to approve the new candidates?
So moved.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Support.
Very good. Thank you, Tanya. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you so much. And now the re-election for Kathleen and Ridgeway. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second, Ken Jones.
Thanks very much, Ken. Any discussion? If not, please signify by saying, if you approve, please signify by saying aye.
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 Very good, thank you. Our business is concluded on the election and recognition of our new board members and the re-election rather of our 2 candidates, Kathleen and Ridgeway. Thank you very much. I want to take just a minute to also recognize our retiring board member. Each year, the board goes through a renewal process, and this year we are sorry to see our good friend and colleague Ken Jones, who not only is a board member but is the treasurer of the council, retiring from the board this year. Ken has provided a tremendous service to the council over the last few years. I want to say that Ken and I have actually known each other because of the council, but not meeting via the board. We actually both served on a council committee before we joined the board, and I got to know Ken and work with him beforehand. He's been an outstanding member of this board over the last 5 years, done a terrific job of shepherding us through some financial challenges, and we now feel like we are on just terrific footing with Ken and the leadership of our CEO, Kathleen. And Ken, I just want to thank you for your commitment and support of the council. We're going to miss you, but we're very much looking forward to having you stay close to the council and community. So with that, Ken, please deliver your, I guess I'll call it your final treasurer's report.
Jamie, thank you for the kind words. It's been my pleasure to be the treasurer for the Council on Foundations. It's been a privilege on my part. And I'd like to share with the council, you'll be in good hands because Juan Martinez from the Knight Foundation will be replacing me in that role. So we will continue the great due diligence that we started. So as mentioned, my name is Ken Jones. I'm the board treasurer, and I'm here today to share an update on the council's financial picture. Stabilizing the council financially and ensuring a healthy financial future has been our priority for the last few years. I'm pleased to report in my final meeting as treasurer of the council's board that even in spite of the pandemic and other factors and all the financial challenges that it has brought, we are well on our way. Jamie will shortly give the membership report in which we will show membership dues remains a strong source of revenue and new members are joining weekly. Fundraising went extremely well in 2020 with several multi-year renewed grants from long-time funders, which gives us some additional security for 2021. This year, we clarified and capitalized the board designated reserve fund at just under $4 million. Our goal is to get to 6 months of our operating budget, which gets to approximately $6 million. And why is this important? This will ensure that we can have funds available to weather any unforeseen circumstances. You may be aware that we also applied for and we were successful in receiving a PPP loan, and we anticipate that that loan will be fully forgiven. The audit committee confirmed that the council has a clean audit for 2019, which is available on our website, along with our most recent 990. We're on target this year by the end of the year with a significant surplus due primarily to underspending, so we will likely use a portion of those funds to balance out some risk in 21 or possibly add more dollars to our board designated reserves. The 2021 budget will be finalized shortly, and we're taking a very conservative approach to spending while ensuring that the council is providing quality programming. With this, we have the financial report. I turn the floor over to Jamie for the membership report.
Thank you again, Ken. That's terrific. And I think with the membership report, I'm simply going to add to the good news that you've offered on the financial report. We're going to have a graphic up here in just a moment as part of my presentation here that shows you that this is as of December 2nd. The council membership now totals 746 organizations and counting. So we've seen an increasing voting members as a result of our new dues model, and I really want to express on behalf of the board the deep appreciation to the entire staff and team who've been celebrating this milestone of exceeding our membership goals for the year. I'm also told by Kathleen and her colleagues that membership applications and contributions are still coming in, even though it's now December 3rd as we round out the year. So it's a very exciting news. We have a full year under our belt, as Ken pointed out, with the new membership model, and the team remains very confident in its long-term success. And when looking at the early adoption rates by formerly resigned and new council members, we're very encouraged to see what we found. To date, more than 200 members have joined the council since the launch of the new model just over a year ago in September 2019. Nearly 110 of these members are former members who are rejoining as a sign of their revived commitment to the council community. In 2020, the council welcomed a total of 163 new members, and the council will continue to drive innovative and vigorous recruitment, retention, and renewal plans to maintain a strong and vibrant membership that's representative of the sector and that serves the sector as well as this organization does. So that is my membership report. Again, very exciting news of an organization that is very much continuing to grow and prosper, as Ken pointed out, despite the challenging times that we've seen this year because of COVID. It's now my pleasure to introduce our CEO, bring her back to the table here, Kathleen Enright, who's been on the job now for a little over 18 months and who has led us through a fairly transformative period that was only exacerbated and accented by the fact that in the middle of all this change, we had a pandemic. So it's a pretty incredible set of accomplishments, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you, Kathleen.
Well, thank you so much, Jamie, and thank you for the terrific reports from all of the board members. Terrific to be with all of you. And thank you to everyone who has hung on for this part of the show. You know, we are just thrilled to have so many of you here virtually. Fred's remarks just so eloquently illustrated how important racial equity is and how difficult 2020 has been on so many levels. We've all been personally affected by these events of this year in varying and deep ways. And so as I was reflecting on the state of the council, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how much of this year has been colored by the events around us. But I was also thinking about what a privilege it is to be part of a sector that's directly attempting to make things better, to start the healing process. So I was also thinking about this conversation in 2019. So what I spoke to the membership in the field about at the end of the year in 2019, and interestingly enough, then too the theme was healing. It was about how the council was trying to spend some time doing our own healing. We were trying to heal some of our own systems and relationships. We were working on healing our financial health and our connection to members. And you heard in some of the reports today, both from Ken's financial report and Jamie's recent membership report, that there is a bit of a picture of progress there. So for the council in 2020, I think the characterization for this past year has been adaptability. I bet you that resonates for many of you, but also strength. This year, like so many, we have endured loss and we have experienced hardship, but through it all, the council team has been able to maintain unity and still deliver important services and support to our members. So I thought I would just give a few highlights of the year for all of you, and you know, just set forth some of the things that we're proud of. This is just a small list. I'm sure that many of you experienced some other important things that we got up to. But at the very outset of the year, we issued a nationwide pledge that now has 800 foundation signers, committing to trust-based grant making. And now with a group of sector partners, we're going to be following up to help turn that pledge into permanent behavior change. And it was really interesting listening to Fred. A lot of what he was talking about that needed to happen inside the San Francisco Foundation in terms of the how, what needed to change, multi-year support, general operating support, simplifying reporting requirements, those are all components of the pledge. We also released multiple publications. We did 2 new chapters of the legal compendium, 6 major publications. And the thing that's different about the council's how this year that we are going to maintain in the years ahead is that the majority were done in partnership. Also, 3,000 individuals attended virtual and in-person programming, and our highly specialized legal team responded to 2,000 legal questions, or nearly so. So in that case, that's a service exclusively for our members. We also, with our reconstituted policy committee, with their guidance, we represented the field on a host of issues, including by fighting to ensure that nonprofits were eligible to receive the relief provided in the CARES Act. And so we're continuing to monitor that and a host of other issues that might come before the next Congress. We also were pleased to spend a lot of time this past year thinking about our direction and our strategy for the years ahead. So although it is not quite ready for prime time, I wanted to give you a preview. To be frank, it's not quite ready for prime time because the board is talking about it tomorrow at our board meeting. But you know, just to give you a little bit of a taste of what they're going to be talking about and where we are in terms of the development to date, you know, we spent some time and solidified our vision and our mission and our core beliefs at the beginning of the year, and so this strategy is building from there. And to be frank, right now, for many, philanthropy is viewed, particularly billionaire philanthropists, are sometimes viewed with suspicion. We are sometimes seen as advancing self-interest or exercising outside influence in the democratic process, or even lacking transparency. So the council we're ready to help the sector answer the legitimate concerns of critics, particularly as a means of increasing trust and enhancing impact. So we envision a world where philanthropy is a trusted partner, where we're always a trusted partner in advancing the greater good. So we are thinking through the potential. What if we are able to unlock the potential of philanthropy when all of our institutions and philanthropic institutions around the globe are standard bearers for operating with high integrity? What if our friends and neighbors see the importance of America's culture of philanthropy to building strong communities and ensuring a healthy democracy? And therefore they're magnetized, they gravitate to being more involved in philanthropy and engaging in acts of generosity. And what if we're also acting more in concert together and rather than in isolation to solve these thorny and complex challenges that philanthropy addresses? This is the world that the council is seeking to help create, and we hope that as we're trying to advance this trusted partner mindset as our North Star, we're going to focus on helping philanthropy be better together by creating the conditions for us to learn from each other, to build deep and meaningful partnerships within and outside of the sector. So looking at multi-sectoral collaborations. We're going to advance equity, both in the operations and the grant making of our members, so that we guarantee fair treatment and access and opportunity for all, while also eliminating barriers for groups that have historically been marginalized. We also hope to ensure that philanthropy is operating with high integrity, as I mentioned, by aligning values with actions. Finally, establishing philanthropy as a cornerstone of civil society and a robust democracy, with more people committing to that essential role in this democratic system, so that more folks are engaged in philanthropy, both as participants and decision makers, so that philanthropy is growing both in breadth and depth. So the council will continue to provide these programs and offerings to our members, and we will continue to expand the ones that you know and love, like our legal guidance, our Career Pathways Fellowship, the Community Foundation's specific professional development programs. But we're also going to push ourselves and the field by developing some new work to help philanthropy achieve our true promise. So please stay tuned, and we invite you in to the developmental process with us. There are going to be lots of additional opportunities to engage, to volunteer, to help shape the council's future. So raise your hand and please suggest your interest to be involved. And I'll just end with this note of gratitude. You know, throughout this extraordinary and destabilizing year, I have been enormously grateful for the hardworking and talented colleagues on the council staff. They have just stuck with it and done incredible work in difficult circumstances. Also for the partnership and leadership of this amazing board, many of whom you have just met. And also for all of you, for the folks around the country, like Fred Blackwell, who are doing Herculean work in the midst of extraordinary circumstances to ensure that the people who are hardest hit are getting the support that they need. So thank you for all that you're doing with everything that 2020 has thrown at you. So I particularly want to extend my appreciation for the folks who have served in the leadership of the council. Jamie Marasotis, our outgoing board chair. You have been such an amazing partner in my first year plus at the council. Tanya Allen isn't going far. Tanya has been vice chair, but I am just thrilled that as of tomorrow, hopefully, Tanya Allen will be the new chair of the Council on Foundations. Kathleen McLaughlin, who is the outgoing board secretary. Kathleen, it has been a joy to have you on the executive committee. And again, Ken Jones, who is not only leaving as treasurer, he is stepping off the board and hopefully will not be going too far because he has become a treasured colleague. You've all provided me incredible support and guidance in my first year of the council, my first year and a half at the council. Gosh, COVID time. You just sort of lose track during COVID time. So I just want to say again, a terrific thank you. So as this all comes to the close, as this calendar year comes to a close, I hope you all find some time for renewal and restoration too. We can't wait to support you again in 2021. So now Jamie's back with me and we have a little time for questions. So I can ask you one, Jamie, real quick while people are teeing theirs up.
I have one for you that has come in.
You have one for me. Okay.
Yep. And so, or for both of us, really. But I think it would be great if you could start. We've been working for a while on this now, but really I think accelerated in the last 2 years. How we've been thinking about the diversity of the council's board, and obviously this slate that we presented is a good example of that. So this person asked, a lot of thought and care goes into developing these slates every year. Could you tell us a little bit more about how this process works, particularly since we have so many new members that are joining the council this year? So maybe you could how we approach that.
Absolutely, how the board slate gets developed.
Yes, and the diversity
absolutely.
That we.
Well, and I am a governance geek, so this is something very near and dear to my heart. Tanya Allen, as the vice chair, is also the chair of the governance committee, and we have a governance committee now of 4 members. And we talk about priorities from the broadest definition of diversity. So we care that our board represents the membership. So we want grant makers of all sizes and types and geographic diversity. We want people with personal characteristics that mirror not just our membership, but the US. So we talk about that. We want people with skill sets that the council needs to succeed. So this year, for instance, we brought on our first general counsel in Martha Jimenez because we care so much about legal expertise, and we didn't have someone who serves in a general counsel role on the board. So we think about all of those various dimensions, and then we go out and look for the people within our sector who might fit the bills of the gaps that we see or the needs that we have.
Great, fantastic. And I would just add that it's an important part of our ongoing deliberations as a board for the board to reflect the diversity of the community that we are serving. And so this has been an ongoing part of our deliberations, and there's a lot of factors to take into account, and board service is a significant responsibility. So the recruitment of board members takes time, sometimes several years, and but it's a very important role, one that I feel privileged to have served in these last 5 years, but in my view is incredibly important to the long-term health and vitality of our sector. So the board's diversity is a reflection of who we are as a philanthropic community and what we want to be in terms of meeting the needs of society as a social serving organizations. Maybe one more question for you, Kathleen. You know, we're in an environment, you mentioned this in your remarks, of change in philanthropy, and I'd love to hear sort of what's exciting to you, what's energizing to you about this changing nature of philanthropy, and in particular how we at the council can play a role in supporting that ongoing evolution and change that we're seeing in our field.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I mean, the thing that's exciting to me is that there are new actors, there are new people who want to be engaged in new ways in our field, and that there's a place for all of us. You know, I think that the pluralism of philanthropy is a strength. There's no one way, there's no one type, and to be frank, the image of philanthropist is a false one, right? You know, the people doing philanthropy are much more diverse and broad than are depicted by the news media or depicted in traditional ways. So one of the things I'm excited about is digging deeper and telling the stories of the way that philanthropy is really being done in this country. So that we see the true diversity of our sector as it is, rather than as it is typically depicted. Also, you know, we're getting so much more sophisticated. I think that, you know, this current era has shown us the importance of things like policy change and getting involved in you know, that in looking at the root causes of the issues that we care about. And so more and more grant makers are stepping up to that as a strategy. And so the council is ready to support those funders who were previously nervous about getting involved in advocacy or policy change, because we know that that is an important strategy to scale your impact.
Great, thank you. Do we have other questions for Kathleen or me before we close out our meeting here today? I don't see any in our chat function, so.
Well, Jamie, we're about to go into the board meeting tomorrow. We're going to talk about our strategy. So what's something that you're excited about in the strategy as it's emerging, or yeah, what's one of the things that we're planning on that you're getting excited about?
You know, I think that this idea that we have an opportunity to sort of reset the public perception of philanthropy at this time of the change that you were talking about is really important. We are an organization that I've long believed before, actually even before I entered philanthropy 13 years ago, is the organization best suited to represent the broad interests of philanthropy in this country. We are a diverse sector. It is one of our great strengths, and yet at the same time, I think philanthropy has tended to have as you pointed out, a sort of narrow public image that I think belies the sophisticated ways in which community foundations, corporate foundations, private foundations, family foundations, a host of different entities have actually served the public good through this work. And but it is not static work. It is evolutionary work, and I think the pace of change is accelerating, in part because of broader societal trends, in part because of these existential risks like climate change and threats to democracy and other things, and in part because it is the right thing to do for us as a sector to not be static, to continue to evolve to serve the needs of society. And I think our our approach that we'll be talking more about tomorrow is well suited to being the kind of leadership organization that serves the field, serves the needs of the field in a way that helps philanthropy get better and produce higher levels of outcomes for society. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, me too. And just the connection to strengthening democracy is something that I see as so important. You know, philanthropy is such an American value, and it's something that we are steeped in. And you know, a strong civil society and robust philanthropy are must undergird strong democracy. And so those seeing the links between those things and the council's role in shoring that up feels really exciting to me.
Agreed. Other questions before we close?
It seems like maybe we can close a couple minutes early.
Fantastic.
Anyone wants one final question?
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yes, I guess I'll just say that this is Member Week, and this is the first event of Member Week, of which there are many others. You can check it out on our website, but there's an Ask Me Anything, which is why we don't mean to linger here, because you can ask questions in advance or just come on the Philanthropy Exchange and ask me or other leaders, staff leaders of the council, questions on December 7th. Additionally, there's a member hour. I don't remember the timing of that, but it's on the website. And we would just love to hear from you at any point. It'd be great to get you engaged. The link is in the chat box, I now see. Thanks again for being here, everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone, for your commitment and support to the council.